Hey coaches, day 72. Congratulations on getting here. Today I want to talk to y'all about running a successful challenge group. We are coming to the end of this group and whether it remains open or not, we have a responsibility as coaches to pay it forward, to help other people see that this can be a solution for them. And in doing so, it's really important that we are able to run our own challenge groups. And in the process of that, of course, I know the goal for many of us here is to get into Autumn's Obsessed About Coaching group so you can learn new things about the coaching business, as well as being able to participate in a really amazing group. So today we're going to kind of go through the start to finish of running a successful challenge group. And this really comes back to the vital process. If you've been through the Coach Online Office training section, then you've probably seen this, but maybe you haven't. Maybe this is new to you. If you're a brand new coach, maybe you haven't explored the Coach Online Office training very much. There's great information there, and we're going to kind of go over a few different elements from that today to get you grounded in a formula that works. So how does it start? Well, the very beginning of running any successful challenge group is inviting challengers and getting them set up and started and ready to go. And that is the part that is very intimidating for most coaches. The other thing that happens a lot is I see coaches psych themselves out. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to run a group and that's a big responsibility. And then they quit before they start because they don't feel like they can take that on. And we have to remember that running a challenge group, that's the easy part. That's the fun part and the part that takes very little time out of your day. It's actually the inviting that takes up the majority of your time. So once you realize that running a challenge group isn't a very in-depth endeavor, even though it may seem like it, there's all of these amazing challenge group guides in your Coach Online Office where they literally have the write-up from day one to day whenever it finishes that you can copy and paste into your group. You may want to tweak the wording a little bit, but running a group is very simple. Getting the group together is where the majority of the effort comes in. And a really good analogy is when you go and ride in an airplane. Most of the fuel, I think it's 80 or 90% of the fuel is like used in launching the freaking airplane. That is how much effort it takes to get it going. But once it's up in the air, it's easy. That's the easy part. So getting the group together, and I'm not saying getting a group together is hard, but don't psych yourself out about running a group because it does not take very much time to run a group. The majority of your effort is in putting the group together. So this is the part I'm going to spend the most time talking about. This is what I've talked about in my previous training videos in this group, mostly about, and we're going to just go a little more in depth today. So I mentioned the vital process. So what is the vital process? This is the essence of how you can very simply run your business to go from prospect to customer to coach. And what we need to do is to get somebody started, help them get amazing results, transition them into a coach, and then help them on their coaching journey to learn how to run the business. And this is the essence of what we do, and it's kind of like repeat, 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 because that's the formula that works. I also want to point out with running these groups, goes hand in hand with Success Club. It's really interesting if you take a step back and really look at the way that Beachbody has structured the rewards systems, be it Success Club, Elite, any of those things. They all come down to doing those vital behaviors over and over and over again. That's the essence of success. So when you see that they are specifically rewarding people for Success Club, for example, that should be a big clue that, oh, okay, if I really want to make my business successful, that's a goal I need to set for myself, is hitting Success Club every single month, because that's what successful people do. And you might go, oh my gosh, but how am I going to sell 3 challenge packs a month? Take out the selling. You're helping 3 people getting started each month. That's what this is about. It's about the helping people. The sale comes from just like knowing where they're at, knowing the help they need, and recommending what would be best for them. You're not pushing, you're not selling, you're figuring out what their problem is and you're offering a solution. And this is also why we wouldn't just talk to 3 people in a month. We talk to multiple people every single day so that you find the people that are ready to start on this journey with you. So take out the pressure of finding that need to make a sale and get to the essence of, I'm out there to help people. I'm out there to help who's ready now. And that is going to liberate you so that you don't feel the pressure and the stress, and that when people say no, you don't take it personally, because you will get no's. It doesn't matter how long you've been a coach. You can be doing this for 10 years and you're still going to get no's. And as soon as you accept that that's part of the process, you can much more smoothly run through this. And a no today doesn't mean no forever. It just means they're not ready now. So that's going to be very helpful in just liberating yourself from the pressure. Because we put so much pressure on ourselves. I've seen coaches do it where they're like, oh, I'm such a failure. And I'm like, man, you're not a failure. You just helped like 10 people get started this month. But they set these really high expectations. And then even though they helped 10 people get started that month, they remember the like 40 no's they got to get those 10 people. So that's something to keep in mind. There's something my coach told me when I got started years ago. He was like, there's something called the 20% rule. And that means 20% of the people are going to say yes and 80 are going to say no. And I was like, okay, I can live with this. 20%. I got to just find my 2 out of 10 and keep going. And that really helped me to be okay with rejection and the no's, because they're going to come, and that's okay. So that's kind of my lesson number 1 today, is be okay with the no's. They're part of the journey. So running a successful challenge group, first thing we got to do is we need to plan it out. You got to look at your calendar every single month, and you need to figure out, when am I running my groups? What groups am I running? And get the dates down. It doesn't matter whether you use your phone or you're a pen and paper person or whatever you want to do, just get the dates down so you know what's going on. If your team has groups going on that you want to co-run with, great. If you've got a success partner, talk to them and collaborate before the end of each month about what your plan is for the next month so that you know when your groups are happening. If you are a new coach, generally speaking, you're probably going to be doing your coach sneak peek groups with your upline team, but maybe you don't have an upline team. Maybe, or you do, but they're like non-existent. It's not a community you are involved in. That happens. Then that's something that you're going to want to work on yourself and create your own coach sneak peek. And I really highly recommend, whether you have a strong upline team or whether you're kind of solo, go get a success partner. That person is there to confide in, to pick you up when your day's going bad, to cheer you on, and likewise you do the same for them. You collaborate together, you run your groups together. It takes the stress off so that you can really enjoy the process of inviting. You can vent when you had a bad day and then move on from it instead of stewing in it. It's just really great to have that person there to lift you up. Just think about this group and how amazing it's been to be around all of these positive people picking each other up on the bad days. That's what having that success partner is going to do for you, and it's going to feel amazing. So that's something I recommend, so that you've got somebody to rely on. And you maybe won't run your groups together. Not every coupling does that, but it gives you the option. And then you could co-run a coach sneak peek. You have all of these options available to you. At the end of the day is the main thing. So you're going to plan out your month. You're going to figure out when it is. Something I recently started doing, and I wondered why I never did it before, is now at the beginning of every month, I do a live video on my Facebook. And I just, talk to all my Facebook friends, and I'm like, hey guys, here's what's coming up for Team Fire Fury Fit's, fitness, options this month. And I just go over everything I've got planned for the month, the coach sneak peeks, the groups, if they're free groups, if they're paid groups, if they're introductory groups, what's going on, and then just let them know, like, hey, just send me a message or leave a comment below if you're interested in joining one of these groups. That's not the only invite I do, but people love knowing what's coming up in my calendar, because then they can go, oh, okay, I might try that free group, and then I am interested in 80-Day Obsession. I'm kind of going to check out this free one to see what a group is like, because I've never done Beachbody before, and then I can get up a better idea. It just gives them that little options of what they can do. I personally always recommend running one free group and one paid group a month. Don't get stuck on the constantly running free groups thing. I see coaches do this sometimes because they're scared to run paid groups. They're scared to run groups that are program specific. Because they're scared of being rejected and being told no. Don't be afraid of that, because you will get no's no matter what, even if it is a free group. The other thing is, you're very valuable as a coach. Your support, helping them out, the value that we bring to the table with these programs, it's amazing. And here's the thing, even if you are a personal trainer or whatever, and most of us aren't, if you're running a free group, there's only so much you can do for people if you're running a free group. And, I've seen it where people have put together squat challenges or whatever like that. It's all fantastic, but it gets kind of boring compared to doing a Beachbody workout, which is a heck of a lot of fun. So I would rather give them the better experience, which is going to come from doing a Beachbody program. So think of it that way. Think of it, you're robbing it from them if you're not offering it to them. Imagine if your coach wasn't brave enough to invite you to come and join them on this journey. That's what you need to think about, and how you would feel like you missed out if you'd never been able to participate in this, knowing what you know now about how amazing our groups are. So have that confidence moving forward. You need to be the one paying it forward, giving them their options, and know that by not inviting them, that you're robbing them of that opportunity. This mindset shift can really just help you to get over any fears that you're holding on to about running groups. And getting paid and all that. Always remember that your paycheck directly reflects how many people you're helping. So a bigger number means more people that you've helped. Thinking of it like that is much easier, because if somebody's drinking their Shakeology every day and doing our workouts, they're seeing results. End of story. So that's something that's really important to keep in mind. So we have our calendar. We've told our Facebook friends about it. Great. Now, each individual group we need to do invites for specifically. Now, I tend to have a 4-pronged approach when it comes to inviting. I very specifically went over how this works in another one of my videos. I'm pretty sure it was video number 2 in the training series. And basically what this comes down to is I email my entire customer base. I do a Facebook event invite. I post on my Facebook page, and I do one-on-one inviting. This is how I get the word out. And I want to point out that some people are like, oh, that's so much information going out there. But the thing that you got to remember is, if you are watching somebody else's Facebook, you don't see everything that they do, right? So people are going to miss stuff. And this is why having it in multiple areas is going to make it more likely to be seen. Because how many times have you reached out to somebody and talked to them after you've been doing a program for several weeks or several months, and they didn't even know you were doing it? And you're like, how do you not know? And this is because this is what is really important and right in front of us all the time. It is not something that's really important and right in front of them all the time. So we need to be able to have as many outlets as possible to get the information out there so that people know what's happening and that they're able to join us. So this is why this is important to have the multiple avenues of exposure. The great thing about the event invite is that you can post very specific things about the program there. You can post promotional videos, you can post tons of before and after photos, you can post about the nutrition plan, Shakeology, the performance line. And it's not inappropriate there. It would be inappropriate to be posting that constantly on your personal timeline, because that becomes salesy. But in an event, it is specifically about the program, what's involved, and how it all works. So it gives you an outlet to be able to post all of these things, get the exposure out there without it looking like it's just cluttering up or turning your Facebook into basically a shop, which is not what we want. We want our Facebook to always remain an open place where people feel like, hey, what are they up to? Oh, wow, cute baby picture, cute cat picture, whatever the case may be, right? It needs to have that balance on our personal page. You still got to post on your personal page, like the sweaty selfies and the invites, but they need to be more discreet and much more inviting rather than, you're not going to plaster a picture of Autumn there because that's going to look salesy. You're going to put a picture of yourself there because you are your business. You're the storefront. You need to be the one that is promoting you. So that's really important. Hey, Sarah, thanks for your help. I'm but going to put your tips to better use with the business. I hope they help. Really, at the end of the day, this is why I'm doing these videos. I know for me as a new coach, I did everything wrong that's humanly possible. So if I can just share what's worked for me and what hasn't worked and why, I think that just helps us all move forward faster, which is good. Less fumbling. Okay, so now we've got our invite process. We know what we're doing for the month. We've got our calendar. We've announced it. We're doing our invites specifically for each program. Fantastic. I'm going to tell you where the magic happens. It's in those one-on-one conversations. As much as the invites are great and the invites in terms of like the event invite and the emails and all that stuff, all of that is just the first step. The magic happens in the one-on-one conversation because that's where you figure out each individual person's needs, what they're working towards, what their fears are, what their objections are, and we move through that in that process. That's where you really get to share your passion about it, where you get to really help them see that it is possible and move them into that next step. So as I mentioned before, the funnel process, generally speaking, is you're going to move them into a free group, from the free group into a paid group, from the paid group you're going to bring them into a coach sneak peek, get them used to the idea of coaching. You're going to encourage them to join on as a coach, and then from a coach you're going to take them into training them with the business so that they can do this too. So that is the natural progression of things. Sometimes people jump right in for a paid group. Some people jump right in and they're a coach right away. But for the majority, for your 90% of the people that join you on this journey, they're going to go from free to paid to coach to learning the business with you. That is the vital process. That's what we teach because it's what we've seen work time after time after time. So it's something to be aware of that, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This is, at the end of the day, it's going to simplify everything. Starting with clean week and then moving into 80-day obsession after, that's fantastic. And that's a method that I've been using for a while now because it's just a simple way to do it. People are really excited about clean week, and I love the fact that they don't have to put in any credit card information. They can just start, because I know sometimes people are really nervous putting in credit card information, and I understand, hey, had credit card fraud before, it sucks. So I get why people are hesitant about that. And I love the fact that they can just try it and get that amazing group experience right off the bat. And then they're like, wow, I'm hooked. What's next? And that is such an easy way to transition them to the next level, to get them into the paid group. And while we're sharing in our groups, a free group is a great outlet to be able to talk about Shakeology and the performance line and how Beachbody On Demand works. And so that by the time that you offer them the selection to get started with a challenge pack at the end of a free group, they're ready to jump on it because they are so in love with the process of what we are doing. So that is basically what's happening. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about running the group itself. I did mention the challenge group guides. These are fantastic for day-to-day content to just, whip into the page so people have some great information to look at. If you haven't looked at the challenge group guides before, go to your Coach Online office and look at them. They are fantastic. The other thing we want to do, let's say you're running your clean week group, but you're doing 80-day obsession. You don't have to lie and say that you're doing clean week with them. Be honest about it. Share, hey, guys, I'm in the middle of 80-day obsession. I'm sure you've seen me posting about it on my timeline. I'm going to be sticking with those workouts, but I will be posting what I'm eating and the workouts I'm doing in this group because I'm accountable to you too. This is important because be a challenger with them. Don't be like, I'm the coach and you're the challenger. Be challengers together. That is a really important thing because that eases the transition into them becoming coaches. Because if you make it so that a coach is like, I know everything and yada da, they're going to be really intimidated because they're going to feel like they're going to have to learn a lot to get going. But if you make it very clear that a coach is just a challenger who is loving these programs and really wants to pay it forward and help other people experience what we've experienced, then they're going to be like, heck yeah, sign me up, because I love this and I'd love to help other people experience this too. And that is the process that works really well. The majority of people don't respond well to the other way. Of course, there's some people who like that, but you're going to find most people would prefer to see like, oh, you're in this with me and we're struggling and sweating together. And, you know, you had a hard time turning down that piece of cake too. I like that. I like that my coach is honest about that. Share your struggles with them too, because the more relatable you are, the more they're gonna just love you, because they're struggling and they don't want to think that they can't share that. I've seen coaches do that before who are like, I'm just like perfect, and then their challengers won't even post because they get so scared that they're gonna be judged because they're not perfect. And it's really important to show them that, like, yeah, we struggle too. That's part of what this is. This is part of the fitness journey, the lifelong journey. You know, we're gonna have great times where we've got, you know, several years where we're doing well, and then, oh crap, stress hit or somebody died and we went and crash ate and we stopped working out and we gained weight and we're like, crap, and we got to start over. And it happens, right? So be honest about where you're at. Last year was a really stressful year for me. I gained some weight and it really sucked. And I was honest about it when I put up my pictures. I'm like, hey guys, this really sucks to post this, but I gained weight last year because I was really stressed out and I was emotionally eating and it was stupid, but I did it anyway. So now, clean slate, 80-day obsession, I'm back at it full tilt. And that was something that a lot of people connected to because it was honest and raw, and it really sucks to post it. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like, you post it and you're like, oh, why did I fall off track? Like, literally just for that post. Like, the entire year you almost could have sucked up not screwing up just so you didn't have to post that. But the good thing is people relate to that and they will send you a message going, I love how honest you were about that. You know, I fell off track too, and I could really use some help getting back on track. You are going to create that community of support and honesty, and that bond is worth everything. Because when you create these communities, you're going to just find these amazing people. And that's really one of the best parts about the Beachbody experience. And that's something to make sure that you're sharing publicly as well. I mean, we're so used to sharing our shake and, you know, doing the workouts and that kind of thing. But share, like, what's the community done for you? What's being in a challenge group done for you or for one of your challengers? Or maybe you don't have challengers yet. Share somebody else's story. People have posted all the time in this group how this group kept them going during a hard time. Share that, because there's so many people out there, especially in our adult life, where we don't tend to be as social anymore, right? Like, especially, like, I see a lot of parents, they're really busy with their kids and their jobs, and they don't get a chance to, you know, communicate with other people as much, and they feel very cut off. And having that community of like-minded, positive people to connect with is more important than the workouts and the nutrition and all that. It's having those people in your life that are just going to lift you up and make you feel amazing. So that's something to be aware of when you're sharing, is that's a big part of this. And that might be more important to somebody who, you know, maybe a military spouse who's moving around a lot and they're having a hard time making connections because every time they do, they've got to move again. So having an online community to rely on is going to be the most powerful thing for them in their lives. So make sure that's part of what you're sharing too. It's the whole experience. That's very key. So that's basically the 101 on running the good challenge groups, and how this is going to help you get into Autumn's group, and really for any other group you're ever going to run, is this process works no matter what program you're running. That's the beauty of it. It's the duplication process. This is why Beachbody is awesome, because I can do this process and it's going to work, and you can do this process and it's going to work, and your team can do it and it's going to work, because it's just simple. It's connecting with people. It's sharing what you're doing. It's inviting them, moving them through their objections, and helping them get going. And, you know, with the free groups, there's a heck of a lot less objections that come up. So that's also going to give you a lot of confidence in moving through to that next step where you are going to move them into a paid group, because you're confident, you already know you can sign people up, you can get them to participate in a group. Now that next step is getting them to buy something, and then don't get them to buy something. I know I said this about selling before. It's to get them to invest in themselves so that they can do a full out program and get the best experience possible. Now in your groups, one thing that I know happens with a lot of newer coaches is that they get the crickets. Nobody is participating in the group. So one of the most important things you need to do when you set up a group is have group rules. Some of the challenge group guides kind of set us up for success with that. Some of them don't. So one of the things that I commonly put in my groups is I will say, like, group rules, must read and agree. And I'll put stuff like, must share, your workout daily in this group, must share your Shakeology, at least 3 days a week. You need to be supportive of your fellow, participants in here. And, basically I need to hear from you every day is basically what I'm trying to say, so that they are participating. They need to know what's expected of them. Because if they know that I'm expecting to see them post every single day, then at least 80% of the group's going to be posting every single day. And then I will call out in the group, after 2 or 3 days, if I see somebody hasn't posted, hey, Jane Doe, see you haven't posted in the group. Everything okay? We miss you. And when somebody gets publicly called out for not posting, everybody else notices that person got called out, and then nobody else wants to get called out for not posting, so everybody posts. There's a psychological thing to that. The other thing is it's a very polite call out. It's not like I'm like, hey, where are you? I'm angry. It's like, hey, we miss you. Where you been? I hope you're okay. And that just lets them know, like, you're watching out for them, that you realize that they weren't there, that you're hoping they're okay. Like, this shows them how much you care as well. So there's like this great duality to doing that kind of thing when you notice somebody's not posting. So that is just something for your toolkit, is make sure you've got the group expectations set and that you pay attention if somebody isn't posting to be able to call them out. And that's just going to set up the group for extra success going through it all. In the last few weeks of any group you run, whether it's an 80-day obsession group or a 1 week, clean week group, be sure in that last little bit of the group that you are setting them up for the next thing. So, if it's a clean week group, well, what are you running next? Let them know about your upcoming groups. Let them know how they can participate in that. Get them fired up about it. I always like to share, like, Beachbody's got these amazing promotional videos. So share one of those videos that's going to be like, really like, wow, oh my gosh, I want to do that with my coach. Sometimes you might want to share something that's a little more broad, like, how to get the Beachbody on demand that's going to unlock everything and how amazing that is. It just depends on what you're running next and what you want to do. So this gives you some opportunities for that. And the last thing that I'm going to recommend, after you have a good baseline of customers, and that could be 10 or 20 people, you kind of got your groups forming at that point. Set up a year-round group for yourself. This is going to do a couple things for you. For one, we're supposed to be inviting every single day. I hope you do. If you're inviting every single day, you might invite at a time where you're kind of in between groups starting and you want to have somewhere to put that person to start right away. You can put them into your year-round group. When that person's in that group, your other customers end up selling for you because they're sharing their Shakeology or whatever program they're doing or the performance line. And the new people are like asking questions. They're like, oh, what's that thing you're using? Or, hey, I see you're using Shakeology. I've been kind of curious about that. What's it like? And they get that peer review knowing that there's no, that person's not benefiting from them getting it. So they know they're getting an unbiased review from that person and they're more likely to get it themselves. And that's where you can reach out at that point to either offer a free sample or let them know, like with Shakeology, for example, hey, if you're interested in getting it, let me know. I can get you a free program with your first order. And they're going to be like, what? That's amazing. And by that, I'm always going to explain this. When somebody wants Shakeology, it's $129 plus, the $15 shipping. $140 challenge pack gives them a choice of like 5 different programs that could go with it. It's $2 shipping. It means it's actually like they save $2 or $3, plus the program comes with it, plus you're going to get your Success Club points. Everybody wins, happy days. So this is why you're going to offer that. You're going to have a happier customer, and you're going to get your Success Club points too. So it's a win-win that way. And they're going to feel like really well taken care of, that you reached out to get them the freebie with it. So it's just such a great way to go about it. So that is why I always recommend having a year-long group and just transition it right into a new year after that. Some coaches do it where it's like a 3-month group and then they like remake the group, but I don't know. I kind of find that's a pain in the butt. Like once you have several hundred people in the group, trying to like archive a group and start a new group and add all the people in, it's time consuming. This is just a personal preference thing. You got to do what's right for you. If you've got 10 people and you don't mind restarting the group, fantastic. But you can always rename a group and change out the pictures, and you can remove people if they're inactive. So you've got a lot of freedom with it. I find it can just clutter up Facebook if we get too many going. Sarah, I've got 29 in my group and barely any discussion in my challenges to encourage my group year round. Okay, that happens, and that's usually from how things have just been set up and they've just kind of sat. And I've had a group go flat before. Sometimes that is a good sign that, hey, maybe I should close this group down and start another one. So what I would do in that case, since you've got just about 30 people, it's not that much of a pain in the butt to start a new group. Put up a post in the group, say, hey guys, this group's shutting down. We're going to be starting a new group. You have to let me know if you want to get into that group. We're starting on blank date, and this group will be archived as of blank date, and whatever date you want to set. And that's just going to light a fire under their butts to know that they have to take action and engage just to get into that new group. Now, when the new group comes, you need to set up group rules right from the beginning. And when you add people in, you tag them on that post. And you could add something like, if you're inactive for more than 30 days, you will be automatically removed from this group. This is just going to let people know that you expect them to start posting. Now, you could, if you don't want to close the group you've got going on currently, set up some group rules now. Hey guys, new group rules. This is what's happening. Tag them all on the post. I expect to see you posting at least once a week. Even if you're sick, check in, let us know you're okay. We're going to miss you. We're a big fit family. I'm expecting you to share your shake daily. I'm expecting you to share your meals at least once a week. Like, how are things going? Check-ins, whatever you want your group rules to be. This really gives you some flexibility to do what feels right for you. So this something to consider is how to do it. You can go either way, shut down a group and open a new one, or just set up some group rules and make it clear that that's the way it's going to be from now on. And then everybody coming into the group from there on in gets tagged on that post. They know what's expected of them, and the group begins to pick up chatter in that way. This is another reason it's really good to have a success partner, because you can make sure that the group feels more active when there's 2 of you who are constantly posting and sharing and commenting and liking on stuff. It's going to make the group automatically seem more active, and that naturally gets people to be more active, because people, as the saying goes, people are sheep. Well, I know that sometimes sounds mean, but like if they see that nobody else is posting, they're going to be scared to post, especially if you've got a group of introverts. Sometimes they need to see somebody lead by example with posting. So it kind of depends on who your audience is too. So kind of see what would feel good for me, like what would make sure that I would be active in that group myself if I was a participant and not just leading it. Because of course, as the leaders, we're compelled to run the group because we're running it. So that's something to think on too. It can kind of help it out. So anyway, I think I've touched on the points that I've all wanted to kind of hit on today, and it's really just have fun with it, share your passion, constantly be inviting, because that is really the most important thing you can do. So have an awesome day, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.